We do love you, Leeds. Cheers, Theo. Hey, everyone, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds for your final pint this week. And me, Darren and Dillo from one of the Leeds Bros. Thrilled to be joined by Paul from Leeds Therapy. Absolutely buzzing to have you here, buddy. Thank you so much.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, you're a legend, mate. Thank you. Here, touch on, obviously, Leeds in general, but also finish the final few points of Luton. I know we spoke about it on various channels a few times. This is usually done the day after the game, so we're a little bit late to the party. And this week, it's been a mad week, hasn't it, guys? How have you found it, Paul, this week? 3 games in 6 days. How hard is it to fit in the content when it's...
It's tough. I literally, before we came on to start this, I've just done a preview video for Blackburn tomorrow, which is going to go live just after 8 o'clock. I didn't want to obviously put anything live while I was coming on with you guys, so I've set it to go live at about 8 o'clock. But yeah, I'm knackered because it's just so many. But when you think about it, it's 3 games. So technically, me personally, it's going to be 2 videos per game, pretty much, a preview and a review. Yeah, so you're going to have that 6 videos that you've got to try and make and then fit it in somewhere at the same time as well. So yeah, it's tiring, but do you know what I mean? There's people out there sweeping roads and stuff, isn't there? So it's 100%. Not that bad. Do you know what I mean?
We enjoy doing it. It's not a full-time job, is it, bud? So we enjoy doing it, and that's why we do it. So, and then obviously we try and fill in when you're helping out here today and on Joe's show. It still stacks up to being 8 or 9 videos that week, doesn't it? Really, it's crazy, but we do it because we love it. So
stacks up, yeah.
I've got a very, very understanding wife.
I think we all do.
Yeah, same.
How are you two doing anyway, Darren and Dillo? How are you? You well?
Yeah, all good. Can't complain. Actually, really looking forward to tomorrow's game. I'm actually happy it's an early kick-off. Obviously not great for the travelling support going down there, but me personally delighted it's a nice early game. And up early, do a bit of a preview, and then doing a watch along then as well. Myself and Dylan second ever watch along. So yeah, looking forward to that. But like you said, yeah, fast flowing this week, and then looking forward then to a nice kind of week stretch then ahead of Derby. But yeah, all good on my end, buddy.
Yeah, I'm well good as well. The same. Kind of just buzzing for tomorrow. As Darren said, a preview and
cheers, Dillo.
Yeah, it's just me and you tonight, matey.
It is, mate.
Lad. And hopefully a few people in the chat as well.
Stick together, Paul.
Not wrong with that, guys.
Not wrong with
that, guys. Anyway, so yeah, looking at the Leeds Luton game. Obviously, we spoke about it a few times this week, but the 3-0, fantastic performance. I think performance of the season, the closest thing I've seen to a 90-minute performance. Do you want to take us off with that, Paul, and tell us the summary of the game, please, Paul?
Yeah, for me, that's the best that we've played. I know a lot of people think that the Sheffield United game was the best that we played, but in terms of a complete performance, for me, Wednesday night was as good as it gets, pretty much. Yeah, man. We've spoken about it, Matty, saying that I'm late again to a game, and we seem to score every time that I'm late. So if that happens, I'm just going to be late to every single game, and just hopefully that'll keep running in. I can remember when we played Swansea at home last season. I'd parked. By the time I'd parked, we were 1-0 down. By the time I'd gotten to the ground, we were 2-1 up. It just
there's something in this, Paul. There's something in this.
I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, no. With regards to the game itself, it was brilliant to watch. Everybody knew what they were supposed to be doing. Everybody understood their role within the team, and it was just nice. Solomon looked like he was on form, really good form. I tend to agree with you, Matty, with regards to he's scoring 2 goals the last game, but last Wednesday was his better game overall, just in terms of how he played and what he did. You just look at our substitutions that we can bring on as well. It's not. Can you imagine bringing on Dan James and you're the opposing defender? But you just sit there and go, for God's sakes, it's just nuts. But it's just overall, we just played really well. And I know a few people thought it was a bit boring in the second half, but they couldn't get the ball off of us. You and I were both there, Matty. They were looking and going, well, what do we do? How am I getting the ball off of them? Because they're just moving it around so well and not under any pressure. And we've just got some real star performers in the team now. So you've got Tanaka, who's just
cheat code.
It's an absolute cheat code. For me, he's bordering on best signing since Rafinha.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, just as how he plays, and it just being miles ahead. I'm just happy at the moment. I'm just in a good place, but let's not do the Leedsy thing tomorrow and muck it all up. But yeah, for me, the Luton game was the best game that I've watched for a long time, just in terms of creativity, control, and everything else. Dan James's lob goal, fantastic. Pura at the end, pulling his guy off of him so he can get round and score from a corner. But other than that, yeah, I'm happy at the moment, mate. I'm in a good place with that. So I just wanted to continue against Blackburn.
Yeah,
and I hear the atmosphere, Paul, was probably the best it's been all season as well. Is that right? Because obviously you two boys were at the game. What do you reckon that was kind of deal with Gary Speed? Was just the performance, but it even sounded like, watching it on telly as well, it sounded like that was the best Ellen Road felt all season. Also,
it's been a while. The Gary Speed thing obviously is going to help because he's one of us. He's one of our own. But also as well, just the crowd seemed a bit more up for it. And the big thing with that is that if the crowd can see that we're putting in the effort and putting in, and the performance is right, then they'll obviously respond and react to that. And then in turn, what you want to happen is you want the team to respond and react to that. And they were very much doing that. The champions of Europe was going up, and that went on for a really long time.
There's no better sweet in football, lads, when they do that, isn't it? We should be doing that every game. It's like you see it tries to get going, doesn't it? And when it dies, you're like, oh, you just love it. It's what an image that is when Ellen Road's in full flight like that.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, the atmosphere was, for me, I noted it. It was very, very good.
Yeah, well, to be fair, for the performance we had, it's one of them where I don't think Luton are as bad as their league table status shows. And I know we made them look very poor, but I wouldn't be surprised to change a manager potentially coming in if they have a bit of an upturn in results. I know a few people have said that lately, but I mean, when you look at their side, Dillo, they've still got a lot of Premier League players in there, or maybe not Premier League players, but players that played in the Premier League last season. And how we dispatched them with ease, well, credit to our boys, really.
Yeah, definitely. I feel for Luton, after being relegated, considered that they kept a lot of players from the Premier League. Like, immediately you'd assume that they'd kind of hit the ground running early on. Then obviously realising that they were in 16th position before we played them, I was going to say maybe this is going to be, because I was kind of calling it, I had a little feeling that it was going to be another Millwall. But the lads came out and just put in a great shift. Every single person on that pitch, the 11 and the subs as well, they outplayed them completely. Not that Luton didn't kind of offer anything as well, like, do you know what I mean? But anytime Leeds were Luton were coming higher up the pitch, you could say, but Leeds were just pushing them back. There was nothing they could do. Oh. Just an overall a great performance around the pitch. For me, man of the match was Tanaka. I've said that. But
standard.
Solomon was unbelievable. Like, it's kind of getting to the point now where when Leeds are putting in performance like that, it's kind of hard to pick who you think. But what I love the most about this Leeds team at the minute is the fact that the substitutions, there's that kind of fire in the belly for the substitutions. Come on, we're a bit spoiled. I love it. I'm not complaining at all. But it's great to see. Like even going back to, I did say when Swansea was it Nanto that didn't start, was it? Or was it James?
Yeah, it was Nanto.
Yeah, it was Nanto.
So
for James,
for him to come on and get that goal, it was kind of like letting Fark know I'm still here. I'm not messing about. And then obviously then Dan James to do it then against Luton. So it's great, lovely competition. I love it.
100%.
It's keeping all of us on our toes. You can't ask for more. Just go get 3 points now again tomorrow.
100%. Yeah, the rotation thing's working really, really well.
Really well.
Yeah.
Specifically in attack, the defense. For me, I'm not bothered about the defense because the defense picks itself at this point.
Yeah,
really, really solid. In attack, the players that we have in attack, you can switch them all around and move them all around, but then they come in and want to make a point, which is just brilliant. So it's lovely to see the competition, and they all seem to be up for it. We're much more balanced this season. I don't think there's any egos in that team in terms of people that want to be like last year. I'd probably say the ego of the team was Somerville because he was good enough. So there just seems to be a really good togetherness with everybody. So that's really pleasing to see.
100%. I really like. How do you feel? In general, a lot of games this season, we've been 3-0 up on a few occasions, 1-0, 2-0. We tend to take the lead in most games, but as we've seen, there's usually a drop off. We've heard this week from Farker, he's sort of put that blame on players, which we've never really heard him say before. I don't think it's a massive issue because we're really good at controlling games, but that's where the boring tag comes in and being quite passive in games. This one again, though, where we didn't blow them away 5s and 6s, but this one again, guys, I'm sure you'll agree, where we didn't really take his foot off the gas. I feel like we applied that pressure and kept it on for the full 90. We really did, and that were really good to see. And there'll be other games we could play like that, and we will put 5s and 6s. But this is still a decent, well-drilled Luton side, and it's just nice to see us give it a go for the full 90. Which, like I say, I don't think we've really done that much this season. It's always been in spells, hasn't it? Really.
Yeah, no, agree with what you're saying. Go ahead,
I think the big difference. I've watched a couple of Luton fans' reaction to the actual game itself, and they were bricking it. A lot of them were bricking it before the game, thinking that they were going to get quite really badly turned over. But a lot of them have said the same thing. They've been flirting with this 5 at the back in defence, and they're all saying the same thing. I don't know why he's persisting with this, because it's just not working, as was proved. But hey, listen, we dealt with the low block on Wednesday night as well, really, really well.
That early goal always helps in games like that, doesn't it? You know, getting that early goal, you being late always helps, Paul.
Keep doing it, Paul.
I will hope.
Make sure you stop at every red light.
I was hoping you'd be a couple of minutes late tonight, mate, and we'd have started Blackburn game 1 or 2-0 up, but never mind.
sorry.
I don't know if anyone wants to try and read this out, but yeah, I think it's to the tune for a Tanaka song. But
tell you it's not hard to tell you it's 40s.
It came on yesterday, but it's some sort of song for Tanaka.
Oh, Scooby.
Right, well, I like some.
He's had more than 1 point anyway, but it looks like.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Jeez.
Do we think, obviously he got the selection right. Do you think there's a wrong selection in terms of these wingers and that front line? Do you reckon whoever he picks on any given day at the minute with a form they're all in, do you reckon there's even a wrong selection to be had in this side at the minute, lads? Is there anyone he could pick who you wouldn't be happy with? I can't think of a time like
Not that
this.
I would be happy with, but it's different horses for different courses. And again, it's like what we were saying with Pirro and Joseph. Dan James, the natural one, I wasn't surprised. Obviously, look, he had a great performance against Swansea, and you see he's out of the team. You're kind of scratching your head for a couple of seconds, and then you're like, right, rotation. It's something that we've been calling for, and it probably is a thing against a side where you know we're going to play a low block. It probably is, you know, not the game for Dan James. You want that kind of more expansive, getting him in behind, especially if they're going to play a low block. We can really use his pace as a threat then. When they kind of had to come on a little bit to us, it was the right time then to bring him on. And you could see every time Jayden Bogle got the ball, he was looking for Dan James over the top. Lovely ball for his goal. I touched on it. I mean, Dylan's wrap up, that finish, lads, is so underrated. If you look where the goalkeeper is, stood on a 6-yard box to lob a goalkeeper, stood in a 6-yard box. What an incredible finish. And it's easily one of them where you just put your foot through it and smack it and see where it goes. To have the calmness, and we've touched on it, Mighty. Dan James, it's one thing that he's improved on massively since under Daniel Farke, is his final ball and his finishing, because he used to be, you know, very kind of hesitant. You know, when he kind of got there, it was like he kind of had too much time because he was faster than everyone else. Didn't know what, kind of had that Theo Walcott kind of vibe about it. You know, he was always going to burn people for pace, but kind of had too much time to think about it and never made the right choice. It's one side of his game that he's massively improved on, and that finish, lads, was absolutely outstanding. It was like what Dillo said, to see him come off the bench, and it's great seeing these players coming off the bench scoring, because it's something as well that we've been saying, that you need everybody pushing, you know, not just the 11. You need the whole bench, you know, the likes of even Gelhardt is not even getting on the bench. You need everyone pushing in one direction, everyone pushing everyone, and ultimately that gets you out of this division. And yeah, it's quality to see. But yeah, going back to what you're saying, there is going to be different games where you're going to play different wingers, where if you're playing a low block, or, you know, they're going to come out and play against you like Swansea did. I think that was a surprise. I thought they kind of threatened us a little bit more than I expected. I thought they would have sat in. They didn't. They came out, they tried to play football, in fairness to them. And then Luton sat in. And look, I suppose we're going to get that tomorrow. I want to see Dan James start, but John Eustace side, I think they're going to sit in tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really low block and try and hit us on the break, exactly what they done to us at Ellen Road. So will that be a game for Dan James tomorrow? I'm not too sure. It will remain to be seen. Could be totally wrong. Probably will start him in a low block and probably will score. But it's just, yeah, that's, I suppose it's up to Daniel Farke. That's why he gets paid the big bucks to make them decisions, doesn't he?
100%, mate. I mean, it's crazy when you think Solomon's probably just had his best game in the league shirt.
Incredible.
You know, Dan James comes on and does that, and you literally can't call who's going to start tomorrow. You know, you really can't call who's going to start in that position.
I'm delighted, lads. I'm sure you all that for Solomon as well. The stick that he was getting, lads. It was horrendous. It was, some was like, what are you seeing online? I don't know if some people, you know, were just trying to have an agenda against it, but some of the stuff you were seeing online was just no need for it. When you put it all together, everything he's been through, he coming to a new club, his career was kind of on a downward, all the injuries. He comes here, pick up another back injury, like just mentally take the football away from him. How demoralising would that must have been? Man, he's coming to try and kickstart his career. And obviously, the slip up only, it can happen to absolutely everyone. He's the downfall again. Must have been a whack to his confidence. But since he's came back from the injury, every single game he's been improving and getting better and better. And surely as Leeds fans, you have to be backing that. I know the first game he was back, he was getting a bit of stick, that he was carrying a bit away. The way he runs doesn't look interested. Look, to me, he did. He was trying, and yeah, I'm delighted to see him back, because what I said, if you have Solomon fit for even half our games this season, it's only going to benefit Leeds United.
Some sections at Leeds fans, lads, don't give you much rope to play with, do they? You've
only got like one game. You play one bad game, you're a stinker. You're out. Like
in some sections, that is actually true, and you've always touched on it, Darren, and said there's quite a lot of pressure on Solomon with this loan. It's massive season for his
just
career.
For him, his career.
He doesn't want to be a championship player. I'm assuming he'll be wanting to be playing for Spurs going forward. You'd assume he'd want to be trying to get back into a European side. This is literally, I would say, for him a season to play football and get back to his best, and he needs to be playing football and he needs to be scoring goals at this level to do that. So it's a massive season for Solomon. I think now the match sharpness is there, Dillo. You can see, can't you, that we have got a player in his hands, potentially one of the best players in this division, without question.
Yeah, 110%. I was just going to say it there a second ago, but all things aside, like, his mental health is probably through the roof, lads. I said it week in, week out. When that slip happened against Burnley, I think we won that game. Clearly we didn't, but I think we won it.
We were the better side that day, weren't we?
Ellen Road gets hostile when people say, make an issue or a problem. And with that being said, like, that was obviously on his mind straight away off the bat. Is that like a normal human being? But then with the back injury as well, like, no one knows, he probably couldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning with the pain in his back.
Yeah.
Like, that does start to play a lot on your mind. And then literally, as you said then again, Matty, this is kind of life and death situation for him for his career, because at the end of the day, if he doesn't do well this season with Leeds, who's going to take him next season? Spurs ain't going to take him back if he's not making some sort of impact, which he has. He's definitely turned it around. But what Darren said as well, he's definitely improving with every game that's going on, and I think we haven't even seen his animals.
Fark really rates him as well, lads. You can see that as well with Fark, can't you? Like, leaving him on as well till the end, because I was kind of worried. I thought around the 60th, 70th minute he might have taken Solomon off, but he gave him the game, didn't he? Which shows. I think Fark really likes him. I think Fark kind of has this player in his head. He likes that kind of low centre of gravity kind of winger, doesn't he? That kind of number 10, especially at Norwich, he liked that. They weren't kind of natural wingers. He likes that kind of drifting in number 10, kind of like Willie Nonto. But it's mental that, like, the wingers that we do have, the so-called wingers that we have, they're all totally different from each other. Like a Nonto to a Solomon to a Ramazani to a Dan James, they can all do different things, which is great, and it's for different games, and it's up to Daniel Fark to see, right, he suits this game better than him. And then again, if it's not going our way, to bring on the other two lads it's absolutely frightening, whether you're starting with Dan James or Solomon or
it's actually scary,
Nonto.
lads, to be honest.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then
the big thing with Solomon in terms of him as a player, there's a massive difference between being fit enough and being match sharp. There's a huge difference between that. Yeah. And what you've seen from Solomon over the last few weeks is just progressively getting better and better and better, because the fitness is there. It's just the sharpness and the little decision making, and that the relationships that you form with the players around you has just taken a little bit longer for him to get going. And it's for me, he played brilliantly on Wednesday night in terms of running and moving, and he will just keep getting better. And like you said,
he was unlucky not to score as well, wasn't he? He'd won in the second half where he cut in, where you could see, you knew exactly, a little bit like Somerville, you knew exactly he was going to try to get in on that right foot, but it's very hard to stop, and he did, and he was just unlucky over the top. He was unlucky not to score, and like that, if he did score, St. Solomon gets a goal and an outstanding performance, you could be borderline then maybe saying that he was man of the match. But yeah, I echo what you last said. I thought Wednesday night he was outstanding again.
98% pass accuracy on Wednesday night.
It's unheard of, that, Paul. It's unheard of. It's ridiculous. I mean, that Ramazani injury earlier in the season against Watford, I think it was. Obviously, from a fan's perspective and Leeds United perspective at the time, it was shocking for us. But it probably gave Solomon and Leeds, the time to see Solomon grow. Whereas we probably wouldn't have seen much of Solomon, and it'd been bit part performances, and he probably wouldn't have got up to the level he is now at this time. So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, really, that it's given Solomon just the right amount of games. Let's be fair. When you look now, he's I'd say, just where he wants to be now. And if Ramazani wouldn't have come out, you'd have probably found he would not be up to this level now. So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise. Sometimes things happen in football. Same way, Ampadu and Gruev. they don't get injured. We probably don't see the levels of Tanaka and Rothwell at any point this season getting to this level because they don't play 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row. So sometimes it's a funny old game, is football. Sometimes
like the Gruev situation as well, Matty, wouldn't it? Like, because like we didn't see Gruev till late December, early January last year, and when he came in, we were like, "Jesus, well, why hasn't he been playing? He's been a revelation in the middle of the park." And I had this kind of thought in my head that if Ampadu and Gruev didn't get injured, it probably would have been Tanaka at the turn of the year. You know, Fark likes to embed these players into the squad, but like what you said, it was a need. Most players got injured and he came in, and we probably wouldn't have seen Tanaka until the turn of the year. And I know you never want to see any of your players get injured, but my God, man, I love watching this fella play football, and it's just, he's great to watch.
Let's be fair, guys. There's a lot of talk at the minute about Ampadu coming back in, should he or shouldn't he? Mm-hmm. How good is it to know Ampadu's watching on, thinking, little voice at the back of his head, shit, I've got to really, like, he might have to adapt his game. I don't think he can come in and just pass left and right. He had more to his game than that, don't get me wrong. But he's going to have to show a lot more than what he would even show him before. He's going to have to be last season's level and maybe higher to even force Rothwell out this team. And that's only good for Leeds United.
Yeah.
This is it what I was saying about with Ampadu. I was going back to the Melee situation when he made that fumble at Sunderland, you know, when everyone was kind of slating him, including myself. And you know, certain fans saying, "Oh, don't get on his back," and all. I'd be the type of person to say,
"Was that a little dig at me?"
I'm the type of fella to
little soul dig,
have a roar and a shout and a scream and bait my head off the wall a few times, but right now put your big boy pants on and get on with it and prove us all wrong. And I think that's something that Ampadu is probably going to have to do. If I'm being honest with you, coming into this, look, it's looking like Rothwell will probably the one. Is, you know, it's harsh, but because Ampadu was captain, it's looking like Rothwell will be the one to drop out. But Ampadu will probably definitely 110% needs to step up his game now, especially for that role around Tanaka. And the same thing again, going back to the winger situation. It's the competition, and now we're going to have that.
He shouldn't have an easy ride though, just because he's skipper. Like, he shouldn't have an easy ride for me, lads. He has to work his way back into this team. He shouldn't be given an easy one. Fark did touch on it when we signed Gilavogi, that, you know, Gilavogi needs to know his place in the team. When the lads do come back, he's ultimately going to be fifth choice. Kind of saying Ampadu is going to come straight back into this team. I don't think he should. I think he like that. He should work his way up, and he probably won't, lads, with a knee injury. It's going to take time. Like the Solomon situation, it's going to take him a lot of time to get back up, match fit and match sharp. What Paul touched on, they're two totally different things. So he's going to have to work to get back in the squad, lads, for me. And that's only a good thing for Leeds United and the rest of the players. Dillo's right. Probably the obvious one to come out on the side probably is going to be Rothwell, which seems very, very harsh. Whether Fark has a little trick up his sleeve where somehow we get all three of them in the squad where we're going to, you know, play a 4-3-3, remains to be seen. I don't think he will do that, but, you know, who knows. But again, it's only good for Leeds United. That's competition. We're definitely stronger with an Ampadu in and around the squad than we would be without him. So yeah, hope he gets back soon enough.
Sorry, mate, I just wanted to, I know you're popping up comments there about the people predicting the score. Am I right in saying that you are actually top of the league between me and Darren?
I am, mate. Have you heard what we're doing, Paul, in terms of a predictions table?
Right, go on.
So yeah, with predictions table, whoever's bottom of it come the end of the season. So we do a prediction on the end of each final pint. Whoever's bottom's got to do a hot chip challenge live on the final pint of the season.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, I'm the only one right so far, so I'm doing all right at the minute, and it's quite hard to obviously guess the games at the minute.
Put it this way, Paul. Me and Darren only started this in August. Come May, I won't be streaming anymore. Put it that way.
That way. Let's try and get a few of these comments in. Leeds has been better side this season. It's just we aren't clinical enough, otherwise we'd be 10 points clear. Yeah, that's definitely been the case so far, hasn't it, lads? But in the last two performances, you've seen that those percentages go up. And let's hope now they've hit form, and that's something we can, you know, take on to the end of the season now. Because if we're clinical, these bigger results, your 3s, 4s, 5s, will start coming more of a regular thing. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
The biggest problem that we've had this year has been the international breaks. Just as we start to get a little bit of momentum going. I know there was one that came in that we all kind of went, Jesus, we really need it. But
that was before Sheffield United, wasn't it? That's when we had all the injuries.
Really, it's just they just really break up the game, and you can't really feels like you can't really get moving on it. But now everybody's focused, I think, head down until March when the next set of international breaks is going to be, and it should, fingers crossed, really, really focus everybody's brains moving forwards.
Yeah, should do. 9 goals in the last 3 games we've scored, lads. So we were saying about being clinical. We are starting to get there. And Fark has been calling for it to start the season that we need to be more clinical. 9 goals in 3 games is nothing to be sneezed at, lads. So now we obviously conceded 3 at Swansea. That's obviously the whole point of football, is that you score as many as you can down the other end and don't concede. Obviously, that's the whole point of football. If we don't concede 3 at Swansea, we're all saying, well, we're flying. Obviously, we know what type of game that was, but it's starting to come, and we've been saying it, since the start of the season, when people start getting on Fark's back after Cardiff. Still mind boggles me how some fans wanted him out after a 2-0 win, and we're obviously talking about not being clinical, having the brakes on. You could see it is starting to come. It has been a little mini rebuild for Leeds, Yeah. Probably our 3 best players go out the door in Gray, Somerville, Rutter, and then he has to find, all this new partnership, Tanaka coming in, Ramazani, all these players, and he has to bed them all in, Solomon as well. Like, it was a little mini rebuild, and we were only saying that it's only going to come good, and I only think it's only going to get better. I still think we're probably only in third gear. There's still levels in this squad, and it's starting to come. We all said it, once we start being clinical, we'll start winning games, and I think we're getting there now.
I still don't think we're at second gear yet. Seriously, I think we've got another 3 levels we can go through yet.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Paul.
There's definitely more. There's definitely more in the tank, though, lads, isn't that? There is, and I think that's probably why there's the frustration from a certain section of the fan base, is because we all know as Leeds fans that there is levels to this. There's a lot of us that are a lot more patient, and we're kind of waiting it out and say we will get there. There's other people that they want it here and now, and that's just the way of life at the minute. Everyone wants everything now. They don't want to wait for it. But you just have to enjoy the journey. It's probably one thing when I look back under Bielsa. After he left, it was like, I just wish I enjoyed the journey a lot more. It was always like, I wanted, the next game, I wanted to play again. And this time under Daniel Farke and this whole kind of promotion campaign, and even last season, I was trying to pull myself back and go, just try and enjoy the process, because you'll always look back on games and go, geez, that was a great game, wasn't it? Or that was a good win, and do you remember that one? So yeah, you just have to enjoy the process as much as you can, even though we call it boring football.
Tell you what, lads, I agree, man. I don't even think we'll see us through the gears, to be fair, Paul. I don't think we need to go through many more gears.
Probably not.
Do you know what I mean?
Probably not.
I'm not too sure you'll see us get to what we can actually do fully, because I don't think we need to. If we're in second, going into third before we put handbrake on a little bit and we're 3-0 up, I don't think you're going to see us getting at 4th, 5th, and 6th, buddy.
This is starting to turn. Imagine that being motors and only needs motors. Now, I think we're in
anyone fancy an MOT?
I think we're in cruise control, and the sports box is only going to get activated soon. I think it's only up from here, if I'm being honest. What Paul said there, I think there's more ceilings to be smashed there. When Ampadu and Gruev come back, come January, we get new signings as well. This is only going to get better. This is a turn for Leeds United. I know that's a big shout to say that.
Yeah, no, I agree. You've got to remember as well that Farke's teams, in terms of getting up to speed or getting to where they need to go, they're notoriously slow. Because he's very much in terms of, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Yep. So generally, it's normally after the Christmas period when his sides start to do more consistently well. Yeah, we've started that a little bit earlier this season, I feel like. Yeah. So hopefully that puts us in good stead kind of moving forwards. It's just, it's a really weird place to be, where you sit there and if we score a goal and you're watching the game and you just think,
we've won.
Well, we're pretty much going to win here now. So,
It's very strange.
But again, that's no disrespect to any of the teams that we face, because at the end of the day, and I think this is sometimes a bit of a problem with Leeds United fans as a whole. Some of them, a section of the fans, do tend to feel like we've got this God-given decree that we should be spanking everybody, top of the league, already in the Premiership, in Europe, all of that kind of stuff. You have to earn it. You have to earn it to get to where you need to go. And at the moment, we're earning it.
Yeah, I agree. We've actually got the players now at this level, we've got the players to match the club's ambition and the club's status, which in previous years, in certain years, we haven't had that. And now you can see that's, like I said, now I don't think it's a case of we should be this, we should be that. I think now, because we've got the players, haven't we, Paul, we can actually probably say it, a little bit more prouder, and it be a bit more truer because of that. I'd like to touch on what Ren said here. Me and you went into it yesterday on Just Joe Show, didn't we? And I don't like the term of dropping Aronson, but I think you agree with me, Paul, that there may be a change coming potentially. I don't think Aronson's playing bad. I think Aronson's playing really well, and everyone says he's a great cog in that edging, and I agree. But when he gets rotated, when he potentially gets a knock, do we see him playing 46 games? I'd say not. With the class players that they've got around him, bar James, who probably is just as out-and-out winger, between Nonto, Ramazani, Solomon, without even looking at a 10 in the summer, there is a chance we could see a front three of, like Ren says, a Solomon, James Ramazani, or a Nonto mix. Do you agree, or do you agree with the like what Joe said yesterday? Aronson has to stay regardless, but I don't really agree with that.
I don't think he has to stay. I think if you were going to rest him, it's a good time to do it. Again, that's no disrespect to Blackburn at all.
Yeah.
Because you bring Ramazani in, and Ramazani can play 60, 70 minutes or play however many minutes, and then you could bring Aronson back on again just to shore it all up. It's Ramazani came on and played in the 10 role on Wednesday and looked really, really good. Yes, I know that they were tired by this point, but there was a couple of little moves and a couple of little spins and
he looked sharp, didn't he, Paul?
He did. He looked really, really sharp, and that over that 10 yards in terms of pace was brilliant. Yeah. So there's a chance they can see it. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not, but there's a strong chance that it could. And if it doesn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised to see that substitution again on Saturday tomorrow for Ramazani coming in in the number 10 spot. Definitely, but I wouldn't be averse to it happening, and I don't think with Aronson not being in the team that it all breaks down. I don't think it does.
I don't.
Because of the midfielders that you've got in there, and I don't know. It's what you like, really, isn't it? And listen, we need to see if certain people can fill in that role. Give him a go. He's good enough.
Yeah. What I'd say though,
you don't want it to come to where Aronson does get injured and then we're like, right, who are we playing? Exactly. He needs to, like, that 60, 70, maybe take Aronson out and trying a Solomon or trying a Ramazani in there just in case something does happen to Aronson. But yeah, I echo what Paul says. I think everyone would like to see that, having a different front three, Solomon, James, Ramazani. But I just think Farke is one of them where it's definitely, built force from the base, and he's going to look at that and go, right, if I take Brendan Aronson out of this team and I'm starting Joe Pirro up top, where's my press going to be? Do you know what I mean? He's only looking really across there. Maybe you're getting it from Dan James, and it's not very controlled. Dan James will press, but not in a controlled sort of way. He'll just leg it after you. Do you know what I mean? So I think he will probably look at that and say, if I'm taking Brendan Aronson out of this team, then where's my press going to go? And it's like what I said to you, mate. Well, then you're changing it up. Then you're changing your whole style, your tactics up. Right, you're letting them have the ball, letting them come on to us a little bit more till they get into the midfield. Then we're going to engage them. So it's little things like that. It's all. I think every Leeds fan says, well, take him out and take him out. But when you're taking one player out of the squad, it affects everyone. It affects who's playing behind him, who's playing in front of him, who's playing beside him, the tactics we're going to apply. So, yeah, I understand where we're all kind of saying maybe it's time to take Brendan Aronson out of the team. I do think it is. But we definitely need to have a look at it as a whole when he does come out of the squad and when Farke decides to do it. What's that going to look like for Leeds United? Where's our press going to be then? How we're going to play football? So, yeah, we definitely do need a backup in there in the case that he does get injured. We need a 10 to come in there, and we know the likes of Nonto, Solomon and Ramazani can do it. So, yeah, it's only a positive again.
100%, mate. I mean, Dillo.
Evie watching the old I'm a Celebrity.
Nothing wrong with I'm a Celebrity. We'll have no hate for I'm a Celebrity here. We'll have no hate.
You can always change that hot chip challenge to some sort of insect if you want, lads.
Love it.
Just to carry on from that Aronson talk, Dillo. I mean, we're getting a lot of people obviously mention that they think Aronson should stay in and no one should take that spot because he deserves it. But these same people are also saying we need to get a 10 in January. So for me, it's what? How do you sit on that, Dillo?
Well, at a certain degree, they you could say they're kind of hypocrites, wouldn't you? And I'm being. I
know it's probably the one more choice in there, but they are saying he's good enough. Don't
no, well, at the end of the day, last season we had Somerville, Archie Gray, and Rutter. We didn't have substitutions to come on and make an impact as such. They were our three best players. I have to be honest. So with Aronson, he hasn't done nothing wrong. By the way, for me anyway, I think me and Darren did make an agreement. I think he said I said he has to score 20 goals before I let it go. What he's done in the past, but he's been phenomenal. Like, I have to be completely honest. He's been great. He runs his socks off. As Farke said, like he has that heart in him, and I think he wants to prove it to the fans as well. That he's here to stay now for this season anyway. The only reason why I kind of want him out of starting lineup is more or less just to see what it'll be like with the likes of Nando, Ramazani, etc.
I'm the same, yeah.
Come January, people are saying to go get a 10. I wouldn't say yeah, but I wouldn't say no. We have players to fill in that role, whether it is Solomon, whether it is Nando, and then Ramazani had a crack at it the other day. So, yeah, it's a long, hard-hitting league. But, like, we're spoiled for choice of Aaron's on the bench as well. Like, everyone keeps forgetting who's on the bench. You know, and we didn't have that last season. That's the way I'm looking at it. So, you know, I said it to yourself, Matty, and Darren a few weeks ago. You know, I wanted to get to the stage where Fark puts a lineup out. None of us know what's going on. We're all kind of guessing. And it seems to be kind of going that route now, with players being on form and players, you know, back from injury and etc. So that's the standard that I want to get to. Like, going back last season, the four of us here and people in the chat as well, week in, week out, we could predict straight away who was starting and who wasn't. Just by the way that the team was at the time. So with that being said, it's good now this season that you can have people on the bench to come on and make an impact. But for Aronson, as I said, he hasn't done anything wrong. And I agree with you, I don't like the word drop. It's more of a rest situation.
Yeah.
It's or rotation even, Paul.
It's the excitement, isn't it, mate, of maybe seeing one of these flair players.
You just don't want to burnt out, lads. Like, surely he can't play this 46 games and is away on international break as well. There has to be some sort of rotation, because then if he comes to the turn of the year and he's still playing all these games, the lead up the Christmas run in as well, which is massive. You know, we know the amount of games over Christmas. He comes into the new year and then he's dying to death and he's not doing the press, and all the Leeds fans are on his back on, well, Aronson's not doing the press anymore. Why isn't he doing the press anymore? Yeah, because we've burnt him out, you know, for the first half of the season. So there has to be some sort of rotation. And I'm sure, look, lads, Fark's not a stupid man. I'm sure he's looking at it going, look, I need to be even taking him off half an hour to go and trying a Ramazani or Solomon when the game is going to home and hose. But it does come, we can't keep going Aronson playing 90 minutes and this full press and relying our whole pressing game around him. He definitely needs to be relieved at some stage.
Yeah, I think you've got to remember as well, it's how you, and again, this is my opinion, I said it last night as well, just in terms of Aronson is more of a pressing, destructive number 10. So not somebody that's quote unquote creative in that kind of sense, whereas somebody like a Ramazani is much more that in that Georgie kind of feel in terms of creative, can make something happen, can do X, Y, and Z a little bit better. So bringing Ramazani in potentially then gives us another feather and another bow in terms of how we played. But it's how you want to play the game. So it's that as well in terms of the spine of the team. So you've got, at the moment, you've got Rothwell and Tanaka that sit in the middle like this. And then it's, if you've got Aronson up here, Rothwell's going to have to do a little bit more if Ramazani comes in. So it's just understanding and moving things around. It's just it's not the worst idea to bring him out. I would like to see Ramazani in that position, because then if we can play in a different way and we can do it, we've then moving from having a plan A and B and C to a plan D. And it's like, if you've got all three of those across the midfield, what they're all really good at, particularly when it's Ramazani, Notto and Solomon, is they're all really good at interchange and switching of positions. So that then occupies defenders a lot more, and it looks fantastic.
Thinking on all,
Yeah.
And Ramazani really does do it as well. We've seen him on the wing. He does track back, lads. We have been saying it about him, that he is this flashy kind of winger, the typical, like at the start he was being compared to like a Somerville, but he does do the dirty work as well. He's no problem doing it. He does get back. He wants to do it, and it's like a side of the game that you can see he actually kind of enjoys. Can't remember what game it was, but it was definitely when we pull someone out over the sideline. You could see by him, he liked it a bit, so he could do a job on that number 10. Who knows? His press might be outstanding, might be just as good as Brendan Aronson. So yeah, why not give him a bash in the number 10?
Going back to that comment, Matty, sorry, Richard Hogan. Yeah, like we you and Darren did say a few weeks ago, about Joseph being in that 10. You know, that's a shout as well, lads, to be honest with you, because now the last few games I think his confidence has definitely been. I was just about to say that. I don't know if now's the time to do it, because he's after dropping off. Look, he was only
earlier in the season, wasn't it?
Earlier in the season, I think was probably the time to try. I think the last two sub appearances from Joseph, very kind of strange, because we all kind of thought of
Joseph didn't make them runs where he normally does.
Very kind of lackluster and stuff like that from Joseph.
Love that word.
Whether he's kind
of, I love that word.
Lackluster.
Yeah.
Paul.
So maybe he's taking
lackluster.
Yeah, even better when Paul says it.
Jesus, that hits home, doesn't
Darren. I'll tell you what though, lads. When we
Paul, can I get that recorded of you? And every time I get a text message, it'll come up.
We're going to put it on loop when I'm going to sleep.
just to finish up on the Aronson.
Feeling lackluster.
It's credit to Solomon, really, isn't it, that we're talking about potentially taking Aronson out, because a couple of games ago it'd have been now Ramazani's face. Well, he just comes back for Solomon, and no one's really touching on Aronson. But because Solomon stepped up, it's like, well, he needs to stay. Ramazani's back, so it's not really Solomon. It's not really Aronson's doing anything wrong, which I think some people aren't really realizing when I'm trying to get the point across.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to dig him out. It's like you have the Fark situation. It's like once you're being critical, it's like, you want him out. It's not. No, you're just you're. It's an opinion.
Yeah, it's not really the case. I just feel like there's a lot of talent around there, and he's maybe the weakest of a good group rather than being poor himself.
Sorry, no, I was just looking at Evie's comment there. me and Paul are going to get awards for the most sexiest voice, Evie, give or take.
Yeah, but don't forget, Mike is a good singer. John, we're having a sing off at the end of this as well, Paul.
I used to be in a church choir. I sound like a strangled cat. I used to
yes, we have two singers in the building now.
My shirt was a kind of rough that I used to wear. I got to light blue ribbon. You got ribbons that you got to wear when you sang in the church. How I got to light blue ribbon, I'll never know, because I'm tone deaf most of the time. So yeah. I just used to sit and inhale all the incense behind the priest when he was doing this. The incense just suck it all in.
This has just changed completely.
That's brilliant.
This is what the final point does to people.
It does.
Come on, you talk about Leeds. Yeah, well, that's it.
Oh, what were you doing behind the priest?
I know. See, this is where I knew it was going to end up going. Christ.
I clocked it straight away.
That's why my voice is so deep.
Let's bring it back, right? Let's bring it back. I'll try and be professional here.
Mate, you get control of the room here, will you?
I'm trying to, mate. I'm worse one, mate. Don't get me going, or you won't. It'll be end of screen. But so looking at the squad, touching on January, touching on competition for places.
Less on the touching, please.
Oh, I'm gone, mate. I'm gone.
Sorry.
Vober. He's Vober.
Don't touch my Vober.
Fucking hell. That's me done, boys. Night.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm done.
Does Vober force his way into the conversation? Maybe not to be starting, but does he get a place in this squad where he maybe ain't looking for the exit door in January? Do you think he's sticking around?
I don't know yet. Jory's still out. I hate the guy.
Yeah,
I'll support him while he's playing for the team.
Yeah,
always support him while I'm playing for the team. But his attitude and his respect towards the club that's paying him money, it really annoys me. So he's still got a long way to go. I'm not even reading comments anymore.
I don't be showing up anymore, then you'll set me off.
I know.
Yeah, I echo what Paul is saying there as well. I don't even know if he's a decent backup in centre half, lads, because of the game we've seen him this season. When he did play there in Middlesbrough, he was horrendous for me. I know he was coming back into an awkward situation, but you look at chalk and cheese with Aronson kind of, took it as, I'm going to prove he's all wrong. He didn't really seem and hasn't really seemed to do that. The left full situation, I know, look, it was needs most we've had for Well, we know that Boyum had a bit of a hamstring issue, so Robert did have to go in there. He doesn't have the build of a fullback, lads, at all, doesn't he? He doesn't have that kind of athletic trying to get forward, even the defending side of the game. At left full, yeah, I don't like it at all. And kind of what you're saying, mate. I do see him go.
Sorry, Darren.
I do see him go.
Evie,
it's brilliant.
Sorry, Darren.
Father Evie.
Yeah. Every time I try and bring it back and then we get going again, someone pops up with just a worldie of a comment and it's
yeah, no, anyway, I think Bob will force. I think he'll force a move in January, lads, to be honest. I think so.
Yeah, if he's still here after January, I will be amazed.
I'll be amazed, yeah. I'll be amazed. Yeah.
There was a comment somewhere in here saying There we go. We don't need to sign anyone in January. Save the money for the Premier League. Easy says that, and I tend to agree. Although previous years we've not bought anyone, and we've suffered. So I kind of would rather just be proactive than reactive and go get someone and fill that squad out. But I don't think we will, unless I think we'll replace like for like. I mean, if Joffrey goes, we may bring a replacement in. You'd like him to bring in if like swapping like for like in squad, you're not really adding notes. So if I say a Joffrey goes, we ain't getting no minutes, it'd be nice to bring someone in to challenge for minutes. But I don't think numbers-wise we're going to add to the numbers we've got. If you get me, I just think it will be if someone goes.
Would you think like a loan from like a James McEntee? Would that be something that you'd look at? Like something like a loan, like one of them that's on the not on the fringes, but really good kind of prospect in a Premier League time. Someone exactly like James McEntee who probably wants to go, wants to play football, needs game time. Someone like him would be looking at kind of that kind of natural kind of number 10. And all we're kind of saying, well, Solomon can play there, and Nanto can play there, but it's kind of like round pegs, not their natural position. They don't really play there. I'd like us just to go and get a number 10 that actually does play there. We know them kind of the Finnish articles cost millions. We're not going to go out and do that. But if we can just have someone like that up and coming that is playing the 10 position, I'd like to see that, lads. That's if it's doable,
100%. So looking on to our next 5 fixtures. How do you think we're going to go? We've got Blackburn away, Derby at home, Borough at home, which I'm assuming you'll all agree is. I know they lost the other day, but I assume that's the one we're pinpointing. Mm-hmm. Preston away, Oxford at home. How many points do you reckon out of them 5, lads?
I need a few minutes because I kind of got this right the last time, so I have to really kind of nail this one down.
Well, I'm working out if Paul's.
I don't think tomorrow's going to be fully plain sailing tomorrow, lads. And the reason I don't is because it's the tour game in 6 days. Yeah. When I look back to Bristol City away, we were all going to Bristol City saying easy Leeds win, we should be dispatching these. We didn't, and that was the tour game in 6 days just before the international break. We were very, very lackluster. Again, it was an early kick-off. The fans weren't really at it. The crowd wasn't really at it. So I don't think it's going to be all plain sailing tomorrow. John Eustace as well, 2 wins over us last season as well. The low block kind of worries me as well. He's ultra kind of low block and hits on the counter attack. So should we have the quality to win the game? Yeah, I think so. But I don't think it's going to be plain sailing tomorrow. I do think it will be very, very kind of rough. Players have played a lot, over the last couple of weeks, the international break, stuff like that as well. So I don't think it'll be all plain sailing. We should be getting the win. We should be dispatching Blackburn, but I just don't think it'll be all plain sailing. Derby, yeah, we should be beating Derby. But you're right, mate. I think that Middlesbrough game over the next 5, that's the one you kind of look at, like that midweek at home, Ellen Road. You have Luke Ayling coming back. They're going to be up for it, their fan base as well. So yeah, to me, that's the one I kind of pinpoint that I look at that might be a hard one. Should be beating Oxford then after that. And who was the one who was before Oxford? Preston away.
Yeah,
again.
Yeah. That's kind of
Peter's last year.
I'm gonna start calling it like a little hair standing on the back of my neck. Preston for some reason, and I called Millwall. Preston for some reason is kind of giving me that kind of vibes. Middlesbrough. I think Middlesbrough will be alright, lads, to be honest with you.
I think it'll be a tough game. Tough game. And they'll probably come out and play, lads. I can't see them sitting back in. They'll probably come out and play and come at us and could make for a great game. But yeah, who knows? With Leeds just need to be on it. But that's the one you look at over the next 5. The obvious one, I'd say that it's going to be a tough one.
Have you, Paul, looked in depth into Blackburn doing your preview?
Yeah, so
looking for us.
I can give you some bits and pieces if you would like. So in terms of the thing that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about Blackburn is they've got some players out. So they've got 6 players that are out. Admittedly, 3 of them, don't worry too much. But it's the Weinman, Toth and Sigurdsson ones and Carter that are the ones that are make me a little bit more relaxed in terms of the overall situation. But when you look at Blackburn as a whole, their last 6 games, bearing in mind that Portsmouth was called off because of the snow, their last 6 games, they've scored 4 and conceded 6, lost 3 and won 2. So they're kind of they're 8th, but they're all over the place at the moment.
Inconsistent, mate.
It's just that. Yeah, it's just that inconsistency of.
Voyman's a big one out for them, isn't he? He would have been a massive threat. Todd Campbell in there. Voyman's a massive one. Voyman is. He's forward, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think they're joint. I think they've joint. I think he's 4 anyway this season.
Look.
I mean, the manager's, you know, a really good manager, isn't he? What he did at Birmingham and then what he's doing now at Blackburn, he gets very average players. He gets them up the table. He's doing really well, to be fair.
Yeah, it's him and it's Wyman and Oashi that are their 2 top scorers with 4 apiece.
Anyone reading Sean's comment here now?
Why, Sean? Double Willie.
I love this.
Sean.
I love this. Honestly,
So true.
What? Darren, can you imagine like us being Irish, like him a Swords lad? You know, like you can imagine how he's saying that as well. What he like proper take, you know, takes the sack like.
What are you putting
Get
out
mad
like
over
that
it.
for?
Yeah.
Their big thing that they like to do as well, Blackburn, counter attacks, creating long shot opportunities, aerial duels. They're very good at protecting the lead, which is why the first goal is the important one.
Generally, Willies here. Everything Leeds struggle against.
Generally, if they win, it's winning by 1 goal. Now, take the Middlesbrough thing with a pinch of salt because it was an offside goal. So if it hadn't have been noticed, it would have still been a 0-0. Their style of play, though, it's through balls, aggressive, and they like to play in their own half. Weaknesses, avoiding offside, so they're offside a lot, but also defending against skillful players.
Right. That's where we come into it, Paul.
And that's where we come into it, and that's where our overall strength is.
So what you're saying is Joe Rodon is going to go up and score 2 goals, 3 goals. Lads, I still can't get over that run that he done the other day. Sorry.
So funny.
Wasn't it? Like,
I was sat in the West Stand. There was a group of us. We all went, "What? Hey, what are you doing?"
Ben White-esque just gone. His inner Ben White just came out. Yeah, I'm on one here.
but I was sitting there, even my missus goes, "What are you wrong for?" I was like, "What is he doing? Like, he's just going on a mad one." But like the way he was running, lads, like you watch him back, he ran like a lunatic. Like he came running at me like that, I'd be going the other way. Like
it's like Firpo, isn't it? You have over or unders on what positions Firpo's going to play in the game. He'll be left back, left wing, left centre forward, number 10. Depending on where he decides, he might end up on the right hand side at some point as well, just for shits and giggles. It's just one of those things.
I tell you what we do want.
It's good inside, Paul.
We want Dan James to be playing tomorrow because I read a stat earlier. You might have seen it, but we've won the last 15 games where Dan James has scored, and it's the longest run since Alan Smith between the years in 1998 and 2001 when he did 21 games. And I know you like a stat like that, Dillo. So that goes along with him being the first Welsh player to get, was it up to 20 goals on the
20 goals, yeah.
which perfect timing, Paul. Perfect timing.
Stat that last on Wednesday night as well with the Gary Speed. Remember, it's fantastic.
It's mad how the stars align stuff like
the
that.
lump of my throat is unbelievable every time. And it was when we were on Joe's show, myself and Aaron, after the match. When Joe said it, I kind of acknowledged it. But then, whenever I was scrolling through, whatever, it was Twitter, and I seen it, I actually had to take a moment for a minute. It just gives you that lump in the throat.
Just written on the stars, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
I tell you what, as a club though, we always do things like this well, don't we? You know, remembering legends, or even if it's a fan that sadly passed away, we do it as a club. And that stadium, you know, we've even had it before where there's been fans pass away, and the game stopped while we remember and clap for that. You know, it's something as a club. We're just unbelievable when it comes to
greatest club in the world, mate.
Yeah, we know that though. That's why we love it. Absolutely love it. Has anyone else got anything to add, lads? We've been not far off an hour now, and
jeez, that was a quick hour. A lot about church, wasn't it?
Yeah, I apologise. I'm sorry. Listen, this is the thing. I'm going to come onto your guys' show now and talk about PTSD in the church. Why when I fart now it just goes.
It smells like incense.
I go on Joe's show. I talk about shitting myself. It's just can't win.
The one about spoilers when JT brought about spoilers about. Spoiler shitting and all. Just watching it going, what is going on here?
This is why Dan is here, lads.
My brain Googles it and goes, oh, does a spider shit silk? Absolutely is horrific. That's it. I'm going 2-0 for Leeds.
2-0?
Yep.
Dillo?
3-1 Leeds.
Go on, Darren.
I'm going to say 1-0. 1-0 Leeds.
3-0 Leeds.
Go 3-0 again.
3-0. Yeah, I just think it just keeps going. I just think its momentum keeps going, mate.
See if you get this right.
Just keeps going.
When the point's finished. That's that.
Right then, guys. So everyone in chat, thank you for calling in. Thank you so much. Stick a like on video if you haven't already. Please subscribe to the channel. Please go check out all the Leeds Bros and subscribe to them. And Paul at the Therapy, great channel. I watch all his videos. Really in depth. Goes into a lot more information than I do, and will want to even attempt to do. So go check it out for a lot more detail than you'll get from this fat lad waffling on. But no, much appreciated you being here. Thanks so much. Take care, guys.